around the state. I tried to talk every child into wanting to be governor. I said, you get to live in the governor's mansion, you get pizza 24 hours a day, you get to have breakfast or lunch or something or dinner with President Trump. I said, you get to fly on Air Force One maybe one time, and by the end, they're all want to be governor. So that was my job for 8 years, try to make sure everybody wanted to be the governor of the state. Now I'm telling everybody that you want to be president. So I took my 5-year-old grandson, as soon as Trump won the race, I took him to meet him on the tarmac, and he had no idea who the president was, but he knew who generals were because he's watched every Lego movie. So I said he was the top general in the world. So now every time I try to see him almost every weekend, he asks how the top general in the world is doing, the president of the United States. Well, today's a special day. You're going to get to hear from a very good friend of mine. Mike Pence was a sitting congressman back in 2009 when I organized a group, and I did a lot of events actually up here to try to make sure we got healthcare reform done that was going to be good for people. Unfortunately, we didn't get a program that reduced healthcare costs and made it better for people, but Mike was working hard for that. And then he got elected as a governor, and I like the vice president a lot, but he was trying to get jobs for Indiana. And my job was the opposite. I wanted every job in the country in Florida. But Vice President Pence worked hard to try to turn around, and he did, to improve the economy of Indiana. And you can look at his record, whether it's education funding, getting jobs, lowering taxes, investing in infrastructure, everything that we care about, he did as a governor. And then he got offered the opportunity to be the Vice President of the United States to work with President Trump. And the two of them together are doing exactly what we care about. So if you think about it, I always said as governor, people care about 3 things. The first thing they care about is they want to go to work. Well, we have a lot of jobs, and we did a good job in Florida, but boy, what's happening to our economy? Over 3% GDP growth. We're fighting the right fights to make sure that China doesn't continue to clean our clock. So they're doing all the things to grow trade all around the United States and doing a great job. Also trying to do everything that they can to take care of our military. People want to be safe, and they're invested in our military. As you know, under President Obama, they cut the size of the military, they cut the funding of the military. In the last 2 years, that's exactly the opposite's happening. They have funded our military. We have 20 military bases in our state and 3 unified commands, and they're doing a great job. I'm going back. Yeah. As soon as I finish, I'm going back to D.C. To work on the national defense budget to fight to make sure that Florida can fulfill the missions that the military wants and also has the funding. So they're working hard on 2 of the big things. The third thing is education, and they have done so many things to try to improve education nationally. So it's been exciting to watch the last 2 years what the president and the vice president has done. I'm glad I'm not competing for jobs with the vice president anymore. Because he did a really good job in Indiana. So it's my distinct opportunity to introduce somebody that married really well. Karen Pence is a wonderful person. They've got a wonderful family, and is now doing an outstanding job as your Vice President, Vice President Mike Pence.
Well, hello, Florida. It is great to be back in the Sunshine State with the men and women who supported a president and have supported policies that are putting America first. Thank you for coming out today. And let me just begin by thanking a couple of the people that you've heard from today already. I have to tell you, he was an incredible governor for the state of Florida. but in a very short period of time, he has emerged as one of the most influential conservative voices in the United States Senate. He's a champion for a growing American economy. He's a champion for Florida. He is a champion for freedom in this hemisphere and around the world. Would you join me in thanking Senator Rick Scott one more time for his outstanding leadership? Thank you, Rick. Thank you so much. And to these great members of Congress who are here today, Congressman Rutherford, Congressman Waltz, and Mayor Lenny Curry. What a great panel. What a great discussion. Great to have you here today. Mayor, congratulations on your election earlier this year. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your great, great leadership at the local level. And one more person to thank, our host today. I got to know her back on the campaign trail. I served alongside her on the President's cabinet, but now she stepped forward to lead this organization, America First Policy. She's now serving as the national chairman. Join me in thanking Linda McMahon, who's one of the great, great champions of this agenda. Thank you, Linda. What an incredible person. And speaking of friends of mine, and great leaders. I was talking to him on the phone earlier today, told him I was headed to Florida, and I think he sounded just a little bit jealous. So allow me to bring greetings from a man who loves the state of Florida and who gets up every day and fights to keep the promises that he made to the people of the Sunshine State. I bring greetings from the 45th President of the United States of America, President Donald Trump. You know, in our first year in office, President Trump promised the American people that we were going to, in his words, hire and grow in America, to raise wages for American workers, rebuild America's cities and towns, because he said when we grow American manufacturing, we don't just grow wages, we grow America's spirit. And you know, back when I was governor of the state of Indiana, I used to say we do two things well in this part of the country. We make things and we grow things. And what was true in the Hoosier State is true right here in the Sunshine State. And I'm proud to say, under President Trump's leadership, American manufacturing and American agriculture are growing again. Particularly when it comes to manufacturing, I have to tell you, it's amazing to think in just over 2 years' time, after we rolled back federal regulations at a historic level, we unleashed American energy, and after this president signed the largest tax cuts and tax reform in American history, this American economy is soaring. I mean, think about it. Since Election Day 2016, businesses large and small across this country, like those represented in this room today so well, have created 5.8 million new jobs, including 454,000 good-paying jobs right here in Florida. Isn't that something? The unemployment rate has hit a nearly 50-year low, and the unemployment rate for African Americans and Hispanic Americans is the lowest ever recorded in American history. The American dream is working again for every American. And as our economy is expanding, the great news is wages are rising. Wages are rising across this country at the fastest pace that they have in more than 10 years. And I think what means the most to President Trump and I is that wages today are rising most rapidly among working families, Blue-collar workers all across this country are receiving the most rapid pay increases of any part of our economy. In a word, the forgotten men and women of America are forgotten no more. It's working, America. In fact, now here's a real statistic for you. For the first time ever, and now for the 13th month in a row, we're in the 13th straight month where there are more job openings in America than there are Americans looking for work. That's not only the longest streak in history, but it had never happened before. It really is amazing. And it's particularly amazing to see how manufacturing has come roaring back under this president's leadership. In the last administration, we all remember the story about American manufacturing. The last administration actually lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs all across this country and across this state. And remember, the last president said we'd never get them back. I remember in the middle of 2016, the last president, remember he said, when he was asked about manufacturing jobs, he said, "What magic wand do you have?" You remember that? Well, we didn't need a magic wand. We just needed President Donald Trump in the White House. It's true. Because the truth is, with the policies that you all have supported, building on the policies that we're talking about here today, the truth is, after the last administration lost 200,000 manufacturing jobs, since Election Day in 2016, get this, businesses across this country have created 500,000 manufacturing jobs, including more than 20,000 right here in Florida. You know, I'm told 2018 was not only the best year for manufacturing job creation in more than 20 years, it actually marked the highest level of optimism among manufacturers ever recorded. In fact, the CEO that just left the stage a few minutes ago, he's got manufacturing plants all over the country, and he just told me, he said, all of our plants are humming. He said, it's all happening. So manufacturing has come roaring back here in Florida and all across this country because of the policies that you all have supported. But I'll tell you, while our policies have made a big difference, the President and I, we come from a philosophy that knows that it's the people of America, it's the enterprises of America that are doing all the work. I mean, I'm proud to be part of an administration that's been letting people keep more of what they earn, lower the business tax rate so that companies here in Florida can compete with companies anywhere around the world. Rolled back more federal red tape in 2 years than any president in American history, had unleashed American energy. But the President and I all know that it's the American people taking advantage of those low tax rates and that new economic freedom that's really made the difference. Your work ethic, your determination, your integrity, that's what's been driving the growth in businesses across Florida and all across this country. And I know in this room there's all kinds of great American success stories. Like a heating and air conditioning business that I was told on my way here has actually seen its revenue grow 35% each year since our administration took office. How about that? And they told us that because of the tax cuts the President signed into law, this family-owned business has been able to use that money. It's invested in its workers. It actually started an apprenticeship program that allows high school graduates to earn a solid income while they learn a trade. In fact, with this booming economy, this company has already invested $200,000 in career development for its employees, and they're just getting started. So would you join me in thanking the CEO and owner of Bold City AC, Mirza Polakovich. Where are you, Mirza? Great job. Great job. I'm also told there's another small business here that's celebrating its 80th year in business. While they've enjoyed 8 consecutive years of revenue growth, I was actually told walking in the door here that after all the policies that you've supported by this administration, their revenue grew last year by 45%. And that new income has allowed the company to reinvest using accelerated tax depreciation that we included in that bill, reinvest in ways new equipment's going to create all new jobs. And in the last 5 months, they've done that more than in any previous year. Their company's growing by leaps and bounds. They're creating jobs right here in this community. So join me in thanking the CEO of Drummond Press, John Falconet. John, take a bow, will you? Turn around. Great job, John. Thank you. These are the people that are making America happen. And I'll tell you what, this businessman turned president knows that. He knows it's the men and women that are running businesses large and small that are really driving this American economy. And so we want to commend you. And I want to let you know we're going to keep fighting for you. The truth is, these two men are just emblematic of really everybody in this room, people who really understand what makes the American economy hum and grow. But for all that we're doing out of Washington, D.C., we know that you're the ones that are renewing this economy with your hard work. But I came here to tell you that we're proud of everybody. We're proud of the progress that we've made in this economy. We're grateful for your support, because all that we've done so far has made a real difference in the lives of everyday Americans. But I can tell you, that guy I serve with every day, all that we've accomplished, 5.8 million new jobs, real momentum, America standing tall at home and abroad, that's just what President Trump calls a good start. And so, Florida, we're going to go right to work to build on that momentum and keep this American economy growing. And to do that, President Trump and I both know that we've got to level the playing field for American workers here in Florida, to be able to compete with companies around the world. And it begins by forging trade deals that put American jobs and American workers first. That's what America First is all about. And we've been fighting for it every day. From Europe to the Pacific, this president has been fighting against unfair trade practices. We've been negotiating new trade deals that promote free, fair, and what the president likes to say, reciprocal trade. I mean, ours is an administration that believes in free trade, but we also believe that nations that we trade with ought to treat us like we treat them, right? That's what reciprocal is really all about. And I'm really proud to report that the president took a strong stand not long ago, and we have great progress in the headlines today. Thanks to the president's leadership, as he said earlier today, our great farmers can begin doing business again in Mexico and Canada. The retaliatory tariffs are gone. It's a big deal. Now, you all remember the president took decisive action to protect American steel and aluminum not long ago. But the president reached an arrangement that I was a part of these discussions going forward with the Prime Minister of Canada in particular, where we've reached an agreement that puts American steel first. We're defending American jobs, but also we've negotiated for Mexico and Canada to lift their retaliatory tariffs on American pork, cheese, and orange juice. Under this new agreement, Florida's farmers are going to win like never before. So we've strengthened American steel and aluminum with a very infrastructure and the backbone of the American economy. And we also managed to negotiate those tariffs that had been used as retaliation against the United States. But now the big task at hand is what really brings me here today. I came here to Florida today to tell you, for all that we've done so far, for all that we've done to keep this economy moving, the time has come for the Congress of the United States to pass the largest trade deal in American history. The time has come for Congress to pass the USMCA. Make no mistake about it. The USMCA is a win for Florida and a win for America. The president has done his job. It's time for the Congress to do their job and pass the USMCA this summer. It's really what brought me here today. I've literally been traveling all over the country talking about the United States, Mexico, Canada agreement. the difference that it's really going to make, not just in manufacturing and in agriculture, but in industries all across this economy. Now, we all remember NAFTA. It was adopted back in the mid-1990s, and you don't have to tell people from the heartland of the country about the impact that NAFTA had on our communities. Up in the Hoosier State, we literally saw almost entire communities shuttered as manufacturing factories closed after NAFTA and moved south of the border. But men and women of the Sunshine State, those days are over. The USMCA levels the playing field and puts American jobs and American workers first. I promise you. The USMCA is actually going to impact more than 2 million manufacturing jobs that depend on exports to Canada and Mexico. We believe it's absolutely essential that it get passed by the Congress because it will also finally allow American workers and farmers to compete in this hemisphere on a level playing field. The USMCA actually is going to end programs in Canada that allow low-priced products to undercut American dairy. The agreement's going to ensure that product grading is fair and transparent. It'll also help Americans protect the innovative technologies that give us an edge in global marketplace. Many of these things were never even addressed in NAFTA. There was a rule under the old NAFTA agreement that if a particular manufactured product wasn't mentioned in NAFTA, that it wasn't covered by any of the existing tariffs. So truthfully, nations like China were able to manufacture products, ship them to Canada or ship them to Mexico, and send them into the United States duty-free. But those days are over. We are not going to allow an outdated trade deal to hurt American manufacturers or American farmers anymore. We're not going to let them undermine good-paying jobs that built the American middle class in this country, the middle class I grew up in, I'm a part of, and it's rebuilding the American middle class today. And under the USMCA, as the President loves to say, the American worker is going to win like never before. But men and women of Florida, I'm here not just to tell you how important this is, but I'm here to ask for your help. The clock is ticking. It's time. The truth of the matter is that there's an old saying. I was in the Congress for 12 years. It's an old saying that Congress does two things well: nothing and overreact. The truth of the matter is we can't afford Congress to do nothing. We need Congress to approve the USMCA this summer to keep America growing. All right? As I said, the President's done his job. We negotiated a deal that puts American jobs and workers first, and now it's time. It's time for Congress to do their job. But I got to tell you, you all are going to be the people that make the difference. And I want you to let your voice be heard. I hope you'll leave here today, and I give another round of applause to these great congressmen, this great senator, this great panel, the mayor, Linda. I couldn't be more grateful to America's First Policies for putting this event together, because it's going to equip you to be able to go out and make the case for the USMCA, and we need you to do it. And not just among your neighbors and friends, but we need you to reach out. Reach out to elected officials all across this great state. Let them know just how important this is. Reach out to people in both political parties. And I also know there's businesses here. Florida businesses do business all over this country and all over the world. So I just encourage you to spin that Rolodex. And for you young people, ask somebody my age what a Rolodex was. Send out an email. Say, I was in Jacksonville the other day. I ran into Mike and a couple of these great congressmen. They were telling me about this USMCA, and you got to get behind it. Just send word out all across the country. The truth is we need to hear. We need to hear from all of you to get this done. And the truth is, Washington, D.C. is always chasing after one story or another, aren't they? I get up in the morning, and sometimes I turn on the television with a stick. I don't even... Did you get that one? Okay. I never even know what's going to be on there. But you all know this economy is growing. It's thriving. America's standing tall again. Confidence is back. Jobs are coming back. You know that America is back. But America needs the USMCA to keep growing, and we need you to go tell the story. Will you do it? You know, I'll always believe that, when the American people set their mind to something and let their voice be heard, there's nothing that we can't accomplish. And there's nothing that Congress won't step up and do. So I just encourage you to let your voice be heard. Let people know just how important this is. Let them know about the great stories that are happening in this economy and just how much this agreement with Canada and Mexico is going to mean to a growing Florida economy. And I'm absolutely convinced if all of us do all that we can in the days ahead, to call on our leaders at every level, to call on our peers in business, our neighbors and our friends, to tell the story of just how important this USMCA is. If all of us get behind the men and women like Senator Rick Scott, these great congressmen, and all the leaders that are standing up for the policies that are growing this economy, that with President Donald Trump in the White House, and with that support, and with God's help, I really do believe we've only just begun to see what this economy can do for this generation and the next. And we will make Florida more prosperous and more secure than ever before. And to borrow a phrase, we will make America great again. So let's get out there. Let's get the USMCA done, and done for America. Thank you. God bless you. And God bless the United States.